How's it going, everybody? Just got done with a fall rain. It was a little soggy here, but I have a dumpster. See that 20 out there? It's actually been getting a lot of attention with being on that main road, but I got to steal it because I got somebody who needs a 20, and that's my last one. So that little free advertisement's getting stolen. I'm actually going to put it on Broadway in our town, which honestly will get even more traffic, which is nice. But so I got to move that. But while I was down here, I figured I would show you guys something because I rarely have both of these dumpsters sitting next to each other. So as you can see, one of them is a Max XD, and then I've got another one here, is a Lonestar. So I just picked up these Lonestar dumpsters mostly because I got a sweetheart deal from a guy, and he helped me out. I was down in Oklahoma. We struck a deal. I'm helping him with something else. But there are some key differences between these. So one of the main reasons I was really happy I got the Max XD is because I knew it was compatible with a couple other brands. You have the Max XD, PJ Rollster, and the Lonestar. As there's quality difference between their trailers, there's also quality differences between their dumpsters. But I mean, just to kind of get to the point, at the end of the day, these are dumpsters, people. Trash goes in them. So a lot of people are like, should I go get a Lonestar trailer or a Max XD trailer or a U-Dump trailer or all these other trailers people are always asking me about? And I only have like personal experience with my Max XD, and my Max XD is awesome. So I'm going to be a little biased on that. I'll always say, yeah, the Max XD is awesome. But there are some key differences between these trailers, and I've seen some of these in person, and I've talked to some of you guys who've also started up about your trailers, and I feel like I got kind of lucky compared to some others. So let me show you what I've got going on here. Right off the bat, I have 14 ply tires on here, which was a huge upgrade for me. These actually came with 10 ply tires and 7,000 pound axles. Now, they probably do come with 8,000 pound axles each, and probably 14 ply standard, depending on which dealer you're going to. It's really hit and miss. Each dealer seems to have different packages. But one thing I noticed is these beams right here. I saw one of the Lonestars in person, and this metal frame here is super sturdy compared to theirs. They had more of just an I-beam frame that I saw, kind of like this back here, almost like this that you see. But it was the whole trailer, and that was just the one I saw. You know, I don't know if they still make them like that. So, you know, somebody can go in the comments to let me know. But this thing is just absolutely tough. Other things I've heard, again, second person here, but a couple of the Lonestar guys have had problems with their brakes actually completely going out on their trailer, which would be a huge issue if you got a big load. And, you know, just subtle things with the electronics and stuff. So we're not really here to talk a lot about the trailers, but I did want to show you my trailer. And like I said, I'm super happy with my trailer. But I do, and I can show you about the Lonestar dumpsters versus the Max XD dumpsters, because I actually have those sitting here. So let's take a look at these. All right, so right off the bat, you'll see that it rained today, and in here, it's full of water. This one was sitting here all day too, and this one is not. And one thing I noticed is, if you look down here, these welds are just tacked throughout the dumpster. So it looks like water is actually seeping out, which honestly is kind of nice in a way that your dumpster's not always full of water. I never really thought about that. I mean, this thing could turn into a swimming pool eventually. I mean, granted, it would probably leak out the back of the doors, but you get what I'm saying. But this for sure, one thing about the Lonestar I noticed was the bottom of the floor is way thinner. The floors on these, they are very thick. And you know, I don't know my gauges of steel like some of you might, but if I recall, this is 8 gauge on the floor and this is 10. So, and if I'm correct, 10 gauge is thinner than 8 gauge. So these are a hardier dumpster in some areas. One thing I noticed as well is this piece of metal here, like this lip, is much thicker than this one over here. This one's a little bit thinner. Feels like you could almost bend it sometimes. The other big thing I notice, and a lot of people will say about these dumpsters versus these dumpsters, is for whatever reason, these look smaller when they're sitting out than these, but then when you have them side by side, you can see they're exactly the same. And I think it's honestly just because you've got this metal bar here, and it almost looks like this side is smaller here. Like, it almost looks like that's smaller than what you have here. But what's really happening is this metal bar just exists here while this one doesn't. So another big key feature I noticed about the Lonestar, and a lot of people will point out, is paint quality. So I kind of got lucky with this one. This one's actually not too bad. When they were unstacking it, you know, it scratched right away. It took some gouges out, and you can even see some like flaky paint. You know, again, guys, at the end of the day, this is a dumpster, so it's gonna get beat up. But interestingly enough, this one's dirty, but I've had this dumpster for over 1.5 years now, and as you can see, it's not scratched up at all. I mean, the stages of paint on this, and it has a very I almost want to say clear coat finish on it. It almost feels as if it could be powder coated, while this, on the other hand, you can actually feel kind of like the grime and the just almost like a spray can feel. So I have a feeling they just come in one coat and they buzz this whole thing real quick, because I mean, another thing I noticed is, I mean, they painted the chain, which isn't like a huge deal, but like they probably get everything on here and they just slap the paint on and then the stickers. My other dumpster, I have a third one of these green, and it's not as nice. It must be a little bit older because the stage of green is a different color, and this chain, while I was driving it back about 6 hours, just kept hitting here like this. And then by the time I got it home, there was about the size of my hand of paint missing. So I'll probably get a sticker to cover it up or something, because, you know, I don't want that to rust right away. That one's probably gonna get repainted. Some other key details is these seem to be a little bit shorter, these wheels are rollers, but they do seem to be a little bit wider than the ones that are on the Max XD. Also, as you'll notice, these are actually welded in, these bars. So this is gonna be compatible with Max XD, while these, as you can see, are not the same. These are actually bolted on, and you have two different levels here. When I picked these up from the other guy, he actually had his bolt ran through here because that's where it latched. But for mine, I was able to just actually get a different size bolt. And the thing is, the bolts that came with the dumpster were way too big, and I couldn't actually get a latch on them. So I had to go get new bolts for the Max XD trailer. All right. So another thing that people always ask about is, you know, do I want the heavy duty doors or do I want the barn doors? And we're not actually going to compare the two of these in terms of quality, because the Lonestar heavy duty doors are pretty much the same as the Max XD heavy duty doors. The only difference is I don't have any Max XD heavy duty doors. I do have Lonestar heavy duty doors, and I'll tell you, the latch mechanism on here is incredible. It latches in 3 different places. I mean, it is strong, and this is a solid door. It took all of 4 people to get this bad boy back on here, and it was heavy. And I have a video you can check out in my YouTube where actually one of these barn doors, the latch on it actually broke when a big load of shingles went to the back, and this thing took off across the street. It broke off with so much force. That's not going to happen with one of these locking in 3 places over here on the edge. This is actually the type of thing that you would actually see on one of the, you know, bigger dumpsters around town with 40 yards that you're going to see on a semi, is these locking mechanisms and latching mechanisms. And there you go, back on there. Easy enough, easy to operate. These barn doors, they're pretty good for, you know, just general use. And I've only had trouble with them one time. But one thing I noticed with the Max XDs is these actually load here at the bottom. They latch at the bottom. I've seen some Lonestar versions where they actually latch here in the middle. So when these are on the trailer, it's kind of a pain in the butt to reach up above, you know, chest level to get those undone and, you know, get going again. But those are the key differences I've noticed, guys. I mean, a little bit thinner metal on these Lonestars, a little worse quality of paint. But at the end of the day, I can buy a Lonestar dumpster with the heavy duty doors cheaper than I can buy a Max XD dumpster with the barn doors, which are not as good of quality. So, you know, it's kind of whatever you want. Do you want really long lasting paint on your dumpsters that looks really nice? Or do you want less overhead and easier to pay off at a faster rate? Because it is a pretty significant difference of how cheap these are versus how expensive these Max XDs are. And, you know, it's just right now for a lot of people what's available. And that's why I like these Max XD trailers, is because they fit PJ, Lonestar, and Max XD dumpsters. So it's pretty easy to find some inventory. All right, so I'm hoping that was kind of helpful for some of you guys, just kind of seeing these dumpsters side by sides. A lot of guys can only go off each other's word, and then they go out and get them, and then, you know, it's kind of a guess game at that point. But biggest things are paint quality, you know, and the thinness of the metal versus the thickness of the metal, and you'll see some just welding differences. But if you can get a Lonestar dumpster with these heavy doors on it, cheaper than you can buy a Max XD with just the barn doors on it, I mean, for me, it was a pretty easy decision. I got a good deal on mine, but like I said, it's just what's available, everybody. But hope that helped. Hope if you're looking for dumpsters, you can find them. Good luck. And hopefully these metal prices eventually drop, and we can get to buying these at the prices maybe we were buying them about a year ago. Something tells me that'll probably never be the case. We'll probably never buy them that cheap, but hopefully it kind of corrects itself a little bit. But anyway, I'm actually going to hook up this trailer right here. I'm actually using the flatbed, so I'm going to actually drop this in a more central location on the property. I'm going to load up that dumpster on this trailer so I can get it dropped off before the end of the day, and might go get a margarita over there at the Mexican restaurant. So all of you, I hope you have a good day. Get out there, kill it, and like, subscribe, comment, keep track of what I'm doing. Let me know what you're doing. I've heard some really cool stories from some of you guys about where you started and where you're at now, or what you're getting into. So keep me posted on what you guys are doing. I'll let you know what I'm doing. And like I said, keep grinding.